I don't agree on. I don't agree on that.
Hey!
It's like what Ralph just said. This really makes no sense to me.
Welcome to the very first episode of a weekly podcast that we're aiming to create.
Oh, I thought
It's gonna be
bi-weekly.
no.
Oh, damn.
Know what you signed up for, Ralph.
Great start. Great start.
We're in for the long
Well,
haul.
It's not that I have anything better to do, which kind
True.
of sums up my life. Yes,
True.
I'm pathetic. Like my glasses. Look.
Still. Okay, one goal for 2024. 24, right? Yeah. It's going to be fundraising for Ralph for a new
No, I
piece
have
of
new
glasses.
glasses. They're just in the car.
Ah,
And
yeah.
these are my studio, my creative glasses.
The Creative Genius glasses.
So
the
that on
EDM
one
glasses.
side the thing doesn't block your brain. And you still get the creative juices flowing.
That's why I'm like a left-brained guy. I'm right-handed, so makes sense, huh?
Nice.
Yes, huh?
Boys, last week I wrote a blog. You probably didn't read it.
Oh yeah, we read
About
it.
5 harsh truths every artist should embrace. And I thought for this episode, maybe we could go over those truths and see if you agree, disagree.
I disagree.
Upfront. Upfront, I disagree for everything. Okay, that's why you're here. First of all, the first truth that I could come up with was talent isn't enough.
Yeah, I agree. Next. I
Well,
agree.
unless
I
you're
think-
like Messi, talent's not enough. No, I
So,
agree.
What do you mean with unless you're Messi? Because
Messi
even if Messi,
apparently never practices free kicks, but still he managed to score a lot with free kicks. So,
but
that's
how
talent.
did he become such a big soccer player? Was that by doing nothing and being lucky?
No, but I think he has so much talent. He doesn't have to put in the hard work per se, like anybody else. But usually
think,
you'll fail with only talent. I
I
agree.
think that's such a thing that comes out of an interview, like, oh, I never practice my free kick, but it's such a lame interpretation, I think, of the journalist, because I think he just practiced and played so much, but he maybe wouldn't specifically put a ball on an exact spot, and but he just played so much football that he has every shot, anyways, on anywhere on the field and anywhere. So it's like a bit of I never practiced my free kick. Yeah, I mean,
You practice a kick. And
yeah,
that's
you
also
practice
a
a
free
kick,
kick.
you play the whole time. It's like
Yeah, but I also agree.
yeah.
Talent is basically almost. I mean, exceptions don't do something with the rule, and yeah, talent
I
alone is
think,
not enough.
if you have talent, you still need to steer towards a like, if you want to become an artist, steer towards that, work towards that, reach out to people, and then still, because especially in music is so subjective. You can be a really good musician and make, like, musically, like, the most beautiful, or like the most, like, oh, these chords go together and it's in this key. People can still be like, nah, I don't like it,
I don't like it. Yeah.
because it's so subjective. So definitely talent is not enough. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, funny enough, I had Messi as an example in the article. So maybe
No.
maybe
Great
Ralph
line.
did read it.
I read it. That's why.
Oh wow, you were that one person. Ah.
He has it open right now, pretending to
yeah,
have
exactly.
read it.
No, but I was like, my opinion is that even though you could be born with enormous amounts of talent and being good in, well, maybe needing less time in order to create the perfect kick, you still need time and you still need to practice it. And that's why I think talent isn't enough. You can be the best musician out there, but someone else who is working his ass off will beat you in any kind of way.
Yeah, I think
Makes
someone needs
sense.
to see also the value in you, and sometimes that's like value as in the energy you bring to a room, but sometimes it's literally like, hey, how much money does this guy bring into our company? So a label needs to see, hey, we see this guy is very talented, but he's productive, he's not at all productive, so we're not gonna make any money, so bye bye.
But
And that's
Ralph is the
also
perfect example here, right? No talent, but still successful.
no talent whatsoever. Very
Makes
successful.
it the more impressive, huh? That's the thing.
No
Yeah.
musical talent at all,
I
but
take
still.
this as a compliment, you know. Yeah. Thanks,
But
guys.
that's what. Yeah, sure.
No,
Okay.
but it's not. There are a lot of artists that don't put in the work and still come quite a long way. So
Like who?
don't always have to put in the hard work
With
either.
names.
We want names. Let them burn.
Jay. Oh, there are a few J's.
I did nothing my whole career, and I just like
No, but I mean, there are those people, yeah, who work smart, not hard. And
Well, I can take myself as an example, because during my artist career, I also asked myself the question, like, how is it possible that I can make a living from this while I'm not musical at all? I didn't know how to read notes. I couldn't read musical literature, as in, like,
yeah, but then you define success in terms of the money you make.
no, but talent, as in, I'm not sure if I was a musical talent because I didn't play an instrument. I couldn't read
I'm
notes.
pretty sure I'm not a musical talent.
No, but that's what I
100%.
mean. As in, I'm not sure if I'm necessarily musically talented, but I did manage to make a living from music. So how is
Yeah.
that possible?
But that's also, I think, that's because dance music, it's a different kind of beast than a lot of other music kinds. You just gotta have a neck for it, you know. Just know.
A neck for it?
Yeah, like it's called a neck for it, not like a neck, but and not a neck, but a neck. And
it's Brabant, an egg.
It's a neck. A neck.
oh man, look it up, Google it.
It's like
My
Brabant, you
God,
say
man.
nonond.
No, pa.
But I think I agree with Ralph there. It's like dance
Yeah.
music, it has to do something more than just a vibe on the dance floor, for example. You have to there have to be certain frequencies, and there has to be some kind of rhythm to it that makes you want to dance. And I think
Oh yeah, it's
we're
Joey
never
never
gonna
can.
recover
I
from
mean,
this.
I take this podcast very seriously, and then Joey is always up here nagging us.
Laughing.
I'm the problem.
No, but I think a lot of music is about what vibe does it give you, and you listen to it and hey, this is a cool vibe. But then dance music, it's not like, hey, this sounds cool. You wanna, especially on a festival, you want it to make people move, and that's a whole different
So rhythm.
thing. You just
It's
have
more
to have a
about
knack
rhythm.
for, you know.
That's what I was saying. You gotta have a knack for it. Have you ever seen that South Park video? He's at the Wheel of Fortune, and then it's about people who annoy you. And there's N space GGERS. And then he's like, "Oh, am I gonna say it?" But it's you gotta see it. It's funny.
I know it. I
Yeah.
know it. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
It's a classic, I think.
That's a classic. It's a meme.
All episodes are classics.
But the whole world
number
is turned
2.
into a meme. Love it.
Financial instability is common. So
What?
that-
As an artist, you mean?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
What I mean with that is that you should embrace the fact that it's almost impossible to have like a stable income as an artist.
You gotta not worry yourself too much about the insecurities that come with being an artist. Yeah, like you say, there's not so much stability and there's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, the booking you're counting on can be cancelled the day before. We always said we only know a booking is sure until the moment we press play. And especially in the beginning, sometimes was harsh times. Yeah, well, you were trying to make ends meet, and end of the month, yeah, it depended on one booking if you were making green numbers or red ones. And if that last booking just fell through, then you would have a big problem. And yeah, that's not the
Is it?
most relaxing lifestyle.
But is that something that disappears, or is that only something that happens in the early stages
And that
of a career?
disappears if you make more money, and if you don't increase your outcomes, the outgoing money too much. So don't spend it on a big Porsche and 3 different Rolexes. Yeah, and you'll be probably just fine.
Yeah,
Unless
just
you're making
stick to 2
Tiesto money,
Rolexes.
you can buy a few Porsches and a few Rolexes.
I
But
think
Yeah.
if you
It's
did buy Rolexes a couple of years ago, you even made money from doing that. So
depends on which Rolex it is and how you would treat them. But
and
yes,
how
you
you
could
would sell
do
it
it.
again.
Yeah.
true. But like what I've noticed for myself as well, I really struggled with the whole insecurity part in the beginning. Definitely because I was at an age where I wanted to start living on my own and have my own apartment, and like
I
kind of
stayed at home.
I stayed at home for
Yeah.
a long time as well. I think 5 years. But when I was 21, I kind of started feeling the urge to have my own apartment. I also made my first money as an artist, so it was kind of possible, but still, every month was a struggle. And that took a pretty long while before it became some sort of stable. And I really struggled with that insecurity.
Hmm.
It gave me a lot of
No,
stress.
yeah, definitely. I saw a lot of friends of mine because I actually went to college. I have a master's degree in financial management.
Ooh.
And no, it's actually a good thing, dude.
It is.
Yeah. And but a lot of my friends, they were making good money after college, and then there I was living at home, being poor. Then I would dress up poorly and do like it's fashion, you know. And yeah, the first 5 years we didn't make any money whatsoever. And then all my friends, they were buying houses and stuff, and I was like, okay, still living at my parents. What's up? And but yeah, in the end, luckily it turned
Last
out
year,
for the
finally,
best.
we have good news. Last year, Ralph was finally able to move out of his parents' house.
No, I still live
But
there.
I think what's also very difficult is that not,
I'm still in my
let's say, with
bedroom, man.
that's your bedroom right there.
It is. Look here.
I think it's what's difficult with
It's me
making
in my
music.
bed at my parents' house. No.
What's difficult with making music is like not every hour you work is like paid out. In like contrast to a job where you work, let's say 40 hours, and every hour you do something, you get paid. And for us, sometimes you can spend literally like a month like not being productive, or the stuff you make doesn't get signed. You're basically just working for free, and then there's these 5 minutes where you come up with a melody and it blows up, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, that 5 minutes made me 10,000 euros in like a year's time or whatever,
Mhm.
which is also quite difficult sometimes, because how do you keep putting the time in if you feel like you don't um um make the money directly for the hours you
Yeah.
work? That's sometimes a bit
No,
of
that's
a
definitely
struggle.
true. And also all the effort you put in into marketing or whatsoever doesn't have the outcome that you would like to have. It's pretty abstract, you know,
Yeah,
because you can do everything right and then still your next release just flops.
yeah, yeah, and
So
Yeah.
it's also
everybody
like,
stream.
yeah, book us as DJs. That's the
Yeah.
most. But it's
No, but
also it's not
it's
really a
really,
product where
yeah.
Apple can do like the new iPhone. They can put 10
But
million
that's
of
just
marketing.
basically being an entrepreneur and you're running a business. And that's why
Yeah, but
you
not
should,
really, because the project you
yeah.
sell, that's also very abstract. Where if you sell an iPhone, you can say, hey, we put 10 million into the
Yeah.
marketing of that iPhone,
No, but you
and
deliver a service. And what's your product anyway, Jobke?
uh, entertainment,
Yeah, well, okay. That's fair answer.
I guess.
Yeah. And
So
that's the thing you're selling. You're delivering a service.
yeah,
So of course it won't be the same as an iPhone or whatsoever. And you are also the business. That's also really different from a lot of businesses. But there is a lot of people just like us, and who have to put in the effort and also the marketing. I mean, you gotta have your partners. It's quite a lot of shit. You're a business, and you should look at it as a business where creativity is just one aspect of.
True.
Although that's the one that attracted you to doing this at first.
Well, I think, as you mentioned, it's this kind of rule is for every entrepreneur out there, as in every person that wants to build a business has to deal with insecurities, and doesn't matter what product you sell, there are insecurities. Even Apple doesn't know how many products they sell. It's just an estimate in the beginning. And I think that dealing with that risk is something you have to get comfortable with,
The
become
problem here
comfortable.
is, of course, that you want to have that mental stability to do creative stuff, and that's where it's kind of contradictory, because on the one hand you have all these insecurities, and on the other hand
Yeah.
you want to be creative, but
Yeah.
that bites
very
each other,
difficult.
So, but hey, you get to know a lot about yourself and learn a lot. I think, most artists are really good at handling being
I think that's also
insecure.
that's also the risk you take of not going for a regular job, and it's the risk you get. Usually, like the classic stories of, oh, all my friends laughed at me because, like Ralph just said, they were buying houses and I couldn't even afford a nice meal or going out. That's what when you get laughed at for making that choice, but then as soon as it pays out, it's like, oh, you did really well, yeah, or they say you got lucky, but then those aren't real friends. But that's the payout for that risk can be huge, but can also be nothing. That's still, even in my career, it's like all the stuff I'm doing now hopefully will pay out in a year or maybe 2 years, but it can also like do nothing. So it's always that
You're
challenge.
kind of investing into the long term, while most people, well, us as human beings, we want to see instant gratification. As in, if we do something now, we want to see what the reward is now. And if we don't get that reward instantly, we have problems with dealing with that. So I do believe if you want to build something successfully in life, you need to build it for the long term, and you need to cancel out the instant gratification thing, because you're not going to get instant gratification in the early stages of your career. You need time, you need things to compound over time before someone will take you seriously, before your music's good enough, before you have a decent enough amount of following. That just takes time, and you're not going to get any gratification in that period of time. So it's all about planting seeds, investing into the long term, and hoping that after those years, those seeds will start to pop.
Yeah. Well, also be grateful for the small little things that do happen. If you like post your track on a forum or on a Discord, and there's a guy who's like, "Hey, I really like this, man." If you're just starting out, that's a huge victory. That's a thing
But
where it
man,
can give you a lot
we
of
still
confidence.
count those. If somebody says,
Of course, but it's
when a lot of people, or when we get more replies than usual, we're like, oh man, we're onto something. You just don't know yourself sometimes also.
yeah.
We
Yeah, and
posted
it's
this
about
video of rework of Kendrick Lamar, Humble, and also people. I was working out. Okay. Can you tell? Yeah. And the trainer over there came up to me, said, "Well, I really like that song and this and that." And then also a friend of mine, he sent me a DM about
Wait,
that song, and then I'm like, okay, that
do
wasn't
you
you.
work out on your own music?
No.
next
No.
next
He saw
next
it on
thing.
our socials, man.
Artist
Ah.
narcissist.
Yeah. But
Okay,
it's
yeah.
actually a good idea to also work out on my own tracks, because to be honest, they're really good for working out.
High
Yeah.
energy. High
I
energy
think
tracks.
Messi secretly practiced free kicks on our music. True story.
Big kick. Is he part of the Big Cake Army?
Big Fat Cake Army. Everybody
Okay.
loves big fat kicks.
Yep. Next one. Rejection is inevitable.
As is in life.
True. Yeah, that's fully
But you
true, I
gotta
guess.
embrace rejection. It's nothing bad. Let's say you're 18 years old and you're into girls, guys, whatever. Let's say girls, because that's what I was used to.
Slippery slope. Slippery slope.
Keep out the woke army. Let's say you're into persons and you're eager to be with other persons. If you strike out with 100 of them, but you manage to be with 3 persons, that's better than you when strike out with 10 persons and be with 1. If you're all about the numbers game. If it's about quality, that's different. But still,
So you're saying bang everyone and see what works.
no.
No,
If you want
like,
to meet the one, you have to kiss a few frogs. That's how it works. Nothing against frogs, by the way. Sorry.
oh
And
shit, the woke
slippery
frog
slope.
army.
But no, it's a numbers game, and the more rejection you get, yeah, it's not a bad thing. You gotta take it as it's a good thing because that means you're trying out and you're
every
putting yourself
rejection
out there.
Every rejection is just literally
Please don't
you're
post
one
it
step
on
closer
TikTok.
to you're one step closer to non-rejection. Rejection. What's the opposite of rejection? The word
Exception.
for exception.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every rejection, you're one step closer to exception. So yeah.
No, that's
I
not
guess,
true. You gotta
I think what
put
Ralph
yourself
means.
out there.
I think what Ralph means to say is that every rejection tells you a bit more about what you are looking for instead of what you're not looking for. So
yeah, you're one
yeah,
step closer
it's a
to
learning moment.
accepting.
Yeah, you need to know what not to do in order to know what to do.
Yeah, but also sometimes it's about time and place. You don't really control those. So the more you try, the more the chance of success will be. It's simple as that. So the more rejection you get, that says something about you. You're doing shit. And that's actually a good thing. So rejection is good.
I like what you said about you don't control things. If you accept that you're way less in control than you think, that helps me always a lot because I make music that I like and that I think will work. If I then send it to 10 labels and they all reject it, I still feel like, hey, I did something good and now on to the next one. And it's like kind of, like you said, it can be a timing thing. It can be a timing where someone just isn't into your track at that moment.
I sense a lot of frustration, with upcoming guys that send out stuff and they think they are not being heard, like guys like Jay or me are being heard. But in a sense, that's true because a release with our name on it will get you a few more streams than somebody without the name. So, but also we're all being judged kind of equally. You are being heard, but most of the time, if nobody wants to do anything, it's just not good enough, and that's perfectly fine. It's totally okay. We still have it quite a lot. Things that I believe in the most, and then nobody just acts on it, and then makes you look different to it, and then okay, maybe it's not that good. On to the next one. I totally agree with Jobke on that.
I think the ice is already broken in that case. It's like we have a name now, so a label will think, okay, so it's probably good. But from that, so they will listen to it, which is a huge advantage. But then they will still judge it like they would normally. It's like when there's a DJ. Let's say you're in a club, you're the popular DJ. There's a bunch of girls or guys, whatever you're into, and they like you.
Frogs.
It's if you're the DJ, the ice has already been broken. You don't need to really go up to the persons you like. It's easy to get chatting. There's already you've already made this impression. But then, if you let's say you want to sleep with someone, then you still have to make a good impression. Let's say Yeah,
That escalated quickly.
yeah, no. But
Yeah.
let's say you're a
Do you
DJ.
know that meme? Like,
Yeah, Ralph hasn't been a touring DJ, so maybe he doesn't understand this part. Let's say you're a young DJ. You're 20 years old. You're like, hey, I like a few of the girls there. You know, let's
or
imagine a young
frogs.
Ralph who turned out to be DJ, and it's like, hey, I would like to go out with them or sleep with them, whatever. Um,
Oh my.
the ice has already been broken. You don't need to introduce yourself. You don't need to make a first impression. They will way easier talk to you. But
So
then it's
what did you
still,
say?
they will still
Hey,
judge
I'm
you
Jay.
for who you are.
You
You know,
might
they
know
will
me from
still.
up
Never
there.
mind. Never mind. Okay, I'll stop. This makes no sense. What I said made sense, but this is
It perfectly makes sense. I get it. But I'm just curious. What did you then say?
no. I
Sorry.
always got to sleep with all the girls because they found out that I'm actually a very fun person.
Oh,
This is not
yep.
a personal story or whatever. I'm just trying to make a
I understand.
hypothetical
Yeah. Like me
Yeah,
and frogs.
story.
the only advantage you guys have is by working hard is getting your foot between the door so that, well, for example, labels do listen to your songs, but still they will be listened to exactly the same as any other song. It needs to be good by the end of the day. It's just that you have the connection, the access by getting there, by building for a few years. And that's the only advantage you might have at this point. But it still needs to be good in the end. So you still get rejected as well with labels. That's one of the things I got asked as well in the start of artist coaching from other artists. They asked like, once you get signed with Spin-In, Revealed, whatever, like the bigger labels, it must get easier to get signed. I'm like, I'm not sure if that's true. You know, it might get easier because you have the access, but still the music you create needs to fit, needs to be high quality.
You know,
Yeah,
what we did notice is you get a release here and there easier than before, but it doesn't make, it just doesn't do anything if it's not good enough. Actually, the label should have been harder to us in the past sometimes to not put certain tracks out than
I think
um, than we have, because sometimes they just didn't do shit, you know. They weren't just
I
not good enough. But
I
you were
think there's
aiming
always
for having a release, which is not the aim you should have.
I think there's always a certain quality threshold for labels to see like, hey, this sounds professional enough to release. And then if you're assigned to a label or you're more known, they will easier release tracks that, like Ralph said, don't perform as good, or they're expecting like
Yeah.
not to perform as good, but you still need that quality threshold. So like the semi, like the okay, that's a cool little track kind of tracks get signed easier, but that's not the tracks that really are gonna help you forward, I guess. So
Usually, you never know. It's still music, and sometimes weird shit can happen.
yeah,
But
true.
and that's also the play they have. I mean, they sign tracks for like 15 to 20 years. I mean, you never know what in a year which DJ will pick it up. Where will it end up under a TikTok, go viral? And that's also the game they play. You know, it's a numbers game. And yeah, if you're already in the system, yeah, stuff gets a little bit easier. But that shouldn't be the aim. It's not about getting releases. It's about getting um, your you're doing something.
About
It's
getting
always
self
about
releases.
your vision, huh?
It's about getting self releases.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, sorry. No, it's about you're doing something that nobody else probably does, or else it makes no
Everyone does
point.
it, Ralph. It's okay.
Man, fuck it. I had a life-changing story in here, but fuck it.
Sorry.
Let's talk about
I need
self-releases
some
then.
water. I'm turning all the
yeah.
way red.
Okay, number 4. Comparison leads to self-doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever been in the toilet, looking the stall next to you? You go like, what?
Yeah,
What?
with being.
Be-
Okay, we're calling names now. Okay.
That's not a name. When you're having beers.
Oh
yeah,
man.
no, but it's a human thing to compare yourself to others in a lot of different ways. But it always leads to self-doubt because yeah,
But
what's the
still, you
sense of
need to
things?
compare. Yeah, if you're doing the same shit as, like, say,
It
John
Someone
depends.
else.
Summit, Axwell,
Yeah,
it needs to
it's.
be on
I think.
par.
I think you need to be aware maybe of what's going on in a certain scene, but I compare. It's hard to not compare, but I do agree. Like comparing is the death of at least of my creativity. It's like it doesn't work at all for me. I need to really be doing
But you do
my
have
own
reference
thing.
tracks, right? Also in the mix. I listen to a lot of
Yeah,
reference
but like
tracks.
that's never how I make music, or that I do get some inspiration from like, hey, I hear a cool track, but then
Ah,
yeah,
yeah, and I
comparing is
use it
is
quite a
really
lot. Like, how do they do a build in that certain track? And that might be also good for me. And sometimes I'm really having a hard time how to glue a whole track together, make a cool arrangement,
yeah,
and
true, yeah.
especially
I,
arrangements. I'm like, poor man.
yeah,
When you're using vocals, so you open up with the chorus, half chorus, then a verse or not,
yeah. I
two
guess
times
that's where it's
chorus line, pre-chorus, bridge, I don't know what, and there's a lot of choices to be made. And yeah, then you go really dig into the crates and see what's out there and make up your mind. Am I boring you, Mr. Chimney?
Yeah, sorry.
I guess that's
Okay.
where it's a really good. Like I also compare there now that you say it. I just think maybe comparing. It's hard to like on Instagram. Let's say it's hard to not compare success and to compare outcome of a track. So if you see someone like headlining a show, it's hard to not compare yourself, but it can be really like bad for your vibe. And
Your
the
self-esteem.
problem is that you always only compare to people that are doing better than you, or that you look up to, and that's like then you sometimes forget how well you are doing, um, and you just can end up like spiraling a bit down, like in terms of self confidence and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's more about embracing the truth that everyone's path is unique and success is subjective. Because when are you successful, right?
10 million.
Yeah, but I think it's just smarter to focus on your own growth and creative expression than just constantly measuring yourself to others, because it just doesn't bring something to the table. It's just pure misery that it brings. So even though you might be you're human, so you are going to do it, but be aware of it when you're doing, so that you don't have to take it that seriously. And I know that it sounds really easy, and in practice in life it's not. But still, I that's the only way to deal with it.
Truth bomb.
True bomb right there. Clip.
It's a better clip
Um,
than the one with the frogs.
can't have it all, Ralph. Can't have it all.
It's not my A game, but maybe fifth hypothesis.
Last but not least, criticism is part of the package.
Yeah, of course, it always is.
So criticism,
Self-criticism also being number one.
yeah, but criticism from, well, as we talked about, labels, but also your fan base if you have one.
Yeah. Um,
I think it definitely you're gonna receive criticism. The question is very much what do you do with it, and also like how to say this with labels. Let's say I send my music to an A&R from a big label, and he has some feedback, and he's not happy with the tracks, or he has some criticism. At that moment, usually I kind of know if I'm like happy with it myself. So it can be a bad critique, but I can still then figure out, no, but I know what I did was how I want it, how I meant it. So then it doesn't hurt me as much. But when they say something where I'm like, oh shit, he's right, then I know, oh, I wasn't happy with it in the first place. But you're gonna, it's all then how you proceed from that point. So whether if you like receiving criticism or not, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. So definitely agree with like it's part of the package. But how are you dealing with it, and how much do you take with you in the rest of your career? So also like from fans, there's a lot of there's some hate comments like on a YouTube video or whatever. That's the one that sticks if you read too many comments. That's the one that like catches your attention because like 90% is good. Yeah, how do you deal with that? That's more the question, but it's gonna be.
I think the way you're dealing with that is building enough self-esteem to know that that's not necessarily the truth, as in like put things in perspective. That also really helps. Like just to realize, okay, I've got 90 comments and this one guy or girl is the one that's bashing me for without any reason. And the other 89 people are really positive about the song. So why do I keep focusing? It's more about zooming out and seeing the big picture instead of focusing on the details.
You know, even if you're not always right, that's the first thing you should tell yourself, even me. And you gotta really see who you're gonna listen to. Last year we did Wrong or Right, a remake of The Riddle. And we were dealing with Jorren, well-known A&R of Spinnin. And for this time, I said also within our own team, we're gonna listen to Jorren on this one. He is a good A&R. He knows his shit. Let's just listen to him. And he came with all these adjustments of the track, especially arrangement-wise, and they didn't feel good to me at all. And we were actually at discussions, fiery discussions here. Me, Marlon, manager Dwayne in there, also Renzo who works here. And but I said in the end, hey, we dedicated ourselves, and Joran would have the last say. Man, that track went really well. And if I now listen to it, it makes 100% sense to me why we have done it like we did now. Well, we listened to him. Well, that at first didn't feel right. So you got to listen to the right people. Then you go to the public. Don't read or really go into the comments you get. They make a lot of times no sense. Sometimes they do, but
I
I
guess
actually read a lot of them, but a lot of them I just go like, meh, whatever, dude.
I guess it's all about choosing who to trust in this. So if Jorn, you chose to trust Jorn, and Jorn said, "Hey, we're gonna do it like that," and you were kind of like, "I don't see how this is gonna go, but I'll just do it," which paid off. But it's interesting because I've seen this with a lot of collabs where I worked. Like when I just started collabing, I never understood when people wanted to do certain things, and you're kind of like, no, don't change my melody, or no, don't change my chords. This is part of the track. It's very important. But as soon as you choose to trust the process there, like you work with someone, so you have to also listen to what they bring to the table. And a lot of times it's this situation, like Ralph says, almost even with other artists, they like have something new for the break, and there's a new chord change, and I'm also proud of my own chord change. But then you're like, okay, let's just try it out. Let's just do what he asks, and let's see.
Oh, you're talking about mariachi, you know. Nice.
No, yeah, maybe no. But like a lot of collabs where you like kind of don't understand the way this person works, and like, but then after it's finished, and then how it goes or whatever, later you realize, hey, wait, this is better, and it's because it's so something I would have never done, something I would have never chosen, and just because you chose to listen to the other guy's comments or it's very interesting, but it's also about I guess about ego and knowing, like, I think that just choosing who to trust. So if Ralph
Yeah.
and me go into the studio and Ralph is like, Jay, I really want to do this for the build up, and I'm like, I don't feel it, I will say, no. No,
No,
Ralph, no.
man.
I will say,
Fuck
Ralph,
off.
you do that, and I'm just gonna sit back, and I hope I trust you to do the right thing with it,
Yeah.
and that
But it's
usually
hard.
pays off.
It's always hard to adjust also to opinions of others, call it criticism. But I think it's really important, and it starts with knowing that you don't know it all. Yeah, don't be so arrogant. You just don't know. Also, if you get successful, don't get people around you who only will nod yeah, because that won't help you at all. You gotta build a critical team around you that just will say if something's shit when it's shit, and will say that's good when it's good.
Yeah, you have that saying, right? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, I feel like
As
that
in,
right now.
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Bye.
You're alone in that room, right? So
Oh, okay. Oh.
No,
Yeah.
but it's more like
Reagan.
you need to challenge yourself, as in the people you hang with influence you in a really big way, in such a big way you might not even realize yourself. But the people you hang around with influence you in a lot of different ways. So you need to get people around you who are critical, but also motivating, and who are not necessarily there to bring you down, but more like to give you constructive feedback to help you
Lift
back
you
up.
up.
And yeah, exactly. And it's hard to find those people because you need to build trust before you know what kind of person you have.
You know what's
It's
funny about this
sometimes
format of the podcast? It's like
Tell me.
Joey asks us a question, Jay. We stumble out some words and going as an answer, and
Joey
then he
summarized.
says the right thing afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we
It's
doing?
not a new thing. Always has been like this.
Yeah, why are we even here?
But I
To
do
I'm not
think
sure.
it's also sometimes very hard to judge what someone in your group of people you hang out with means to your process. In a way of sometimes someone can be annoying or can be sometimes a bit of a struggle to work with, but it might pay off. It's very hard to judge that sometimes. It's hard to judge
Mhm.
what someone means to you in the long run. Because I see this on Instagram or on TikTok, and people are like, "Yeah, you need to surround yourself with people with a positive mindset."
Sorry, Jobke. Makes sense, but it's Joey. The thing
You
is,
ruined this clip.
we're looking at the screen. He's not per se looking at me, but I know he's looking at me. What the fuck? But I
No,
see
I wasn't
him
even.
like
I was
everybody
just,
sees us now. It's weird,
but
man.
like, it's just like you need
Energy.
to. They always on Instagram, and like the beautiful Instagram quote, you need to surround yourself with people that motivate you and that are positive and a positive mindset. But like positive isn't always like, oh, this guy makes me feel good all the time. Let's say me and Ralph, if he annoys me, sometimes that can start not that you really annoy me, but like it can start something in me that makes me work towards something in a good way. So it's like it's very hard to
Hate.
judge what people around you
Hate can
mean
be a
to your
motivator.
process.
It's like being a Jedi or a Sith. You watch those movies. They're called Star Wars. Something big about it.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer.
Man,
Yeah.
well, I
No.
mean, the last ones were shit, but Star Wars is still cool, right? Have you seen Andor? Man, fucking amazing.
No. I've seen a Star Wars movie, but it's been a long time ago. Long time. But I agree with
Okay.
what you're saying, Ralph. Jay. As in,
Ray.
I have this person in my life as well who's really critical, overcritical, in my opinion, way too negative. But to me, I'm way too positive and way too open-minded in some kind of way. So I see a lot of opportunities, and I sometimes need to be a bit more critical about things before I jump into it. So talking to him is good to me because he always points out the critical aspects of things that I see like, never really thought about it that way, never really saw it like that. And then I'm not saying I have to agree with him, but for like 20%, I could say, that could actually be something that might bring me in danger in this whole story or whatever. So it could be helpful to have people around you who have skill sets you don't have.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't always
does it
clearly
again.
show. No, it doesn't
Makes
always
us
clearly
talk,
show.
and then he gives the right answer.
And don't become Robbie Williams, because
Why?
I've seen his documentary, and
Is it good?
it's very good, I think. But
Okay.
it's very shocking to me how, and of course it's a documentary, so it can be very out of context or whatever. But like how transactional he works with some of the people in his life, and then he's like, there's a guy. The guy is called Guy, and he wrote like some of the biggest hits with him. They always work, the two of them. And
The
then
guy
there's this.
Oseri?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
No.
But like, there's this moment in the
That's the manager
documentary
of
where
Madonna and a lot of
there's
other
a
guys.
period of time where Robbie is all of a sudden done with this guy, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm done with him." At that point, I was done with him, and he just like puts him to side, just like a thing, you know. Okay, that doesn't do it for me anymore. Bye. And then his whole life started to derail, and he still can't understand, like, hey, maybe it's because of the choices you made, and not just of like the life that has. It's very interesting, but I see it also from having been a touring artist, not nearly at that level, but like it's very interesting, and it's also interesting to me that no one really saw that kind of aspect of him, where he's actually very narcissistic and very he just watch the documentary and
You know what I'll do? For next week, Ralph, if you make sure you watch it as well, we're going to talk more about it in depth.
Cannot comply, not at all. I have a new game, Resident Evil 4 remake. It was on sale, and it's really cool. I'm playing that until I'm done. So yeah.
Modern Warfare is launching tonight.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited for in
Heck
2
yeah.
years when
I
GTA
got
6.
to go.
Guys, in 2 years, GTA 6 will launch. Yeah.
2 years?
2025. Yeah.
I did like the trailer a lot, though.
Oh, if
Haven't seen it
that's
yet.
in-game footage, it's gonna be
Sure,
insane.
it's not like it's never.
They say
like
it is.
But
They say it is.
Yeah, but it's
the
not
images you always
gameplay
get to
footage.
see.
It's
I think
like
they say part of it is. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
But
We'll
hey,
see.
2 years. That's a long time, man. Who knows where we'll be in
Yeah,
2
but
years.
it's 2025, so that's practically within a year and a month from now.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and I
that's
think
also
it will
a long
launch
time,
March
man. It's a long time.
2025.
A long
Yeah,
time.
that's not.
Who knows
if
where we
you
are? I might have scored 2 hits by then.
you guys might not even talk to me anymore by then.
Probably not.
Probably.
Yeah, well, maybe sometimes.
Well,
Maybe
somewhere else.
I'm done with you. I just eject you
I
out of my
don't
life
need
like
you.
Can you make
Yeah.
it like this visual guy that I pick him up and then bam, bam? Or maybe I'm not.
No.
For you, Jobke, which side of the screen are you?
Left.
I'm left
For me,
in my screen.
for
And
me,
you're
you're in
on
the
the right
middle.
for me. And
This is-
Joey's in the middle. And strangely enough, Joey looks forward. I lean a little bit to the right,
yeah.
and you're really looking to the left for me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Man, technology,
time.
yeah. It's like we're in the
Technology.
same room.
Technology, man.
Yeah.
I
Crazy.
can
Guys,
smell you guys.
Thanks a lot. We will be back next week, maybe with an in-depth version of the Robbie Williams documentary.
Probably not, but we can
Or
talk
maybe-
about.
It's big. It's like 4 episodes, so it's like it's a big documentary.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh. Maybe we can talk about Modern Warfare. There might have been some more hours in there. So yeah, we'll catch
about
up
golf.
next week.
No, not about golf.
Bye.